Governor Rick Scott pledges millions to support Florida's military community.
We've got to take care of our veterans. We've got to take care of our active military.
By the numbers, what the governor's pushing for to help those who've served. Plus, local efforts to help veterans succeed in business and setting up those vets to lead the American economy. It's all ahead on This Week in Jacksonville. Our show this morning focuses on veterans issues, something vital to Northeast Florida with our Navy bases, Marine Forces at Blunt Island, Florida Air National Guard installation, and the statewide headquarters of the National Guard in St. Augustine. Those issues are important statewide as well. Now, Kent talked with Governor Rick Scott about his priorities and where they line up in his budget, a budget asking for $102 million to support veterans, active military, and their families.
Well, I'm really proud of my dad. He was in the 82nd Airborne. He did all the combat jumps in the Second World War. I've got a rifle from his company in my office and all of his medals, which is I'm really proud of him.
Florida Governor Rick Scott spoke with me at the governor's mansion recently, and not long after laying out his budget priorities to the joint session of lawmakers to begin the legislative session. Governor Scott points to his own experience and the need among Floridians for support to active military and those who have already served.
I had the opportunity to serve in the Navy. I know Jacksonville is a big Navy town, but we've got to take care of our veterans. We've got to take care of our active military. So, we've got to do everything from, make it easier to go to school, give in-state tuition to all veterans, which is what we do. Make it easier for them to get a license, which is what we do. We also have a program, Building Homes for Heroes, where we've been able to help disabled veterans get a home, mortgage-free home. So we had Master Sergeant Barrett there today with his wife and daughter Isabella, and they're going to be getting a home in Tampa in September. And so here's an individual that 2 years ago was, got the Purple Heart for saving people's life when an IED was detonated inside his base. And so he said, he was out there trying to save. And so we got to take care of him. So, but there's a variety of programs like that. We make it easier to get licensed, get them to work, all sorts of things. And we also help their spouses. Now, on top of that, a lot of military has to move around, and so we make it easier for their children to get in the right schools. If they have a child that's developmentally disabled, they immediately get on a wait list so they can get services. We're doing everything we can to make this the place. If you're on active duty, if you're a veteran, you want to be in Florida.
That Building Homes for Heroes program the governor mentioned, he wants $1 million for it in the budget. The governor's office says it supports neighborhood economic advancement and impacts construction growth in 32 communities in Florida. Governor Scott's budget asks for $2.5 million in supporting jobs for veterans. That breaks down to $1 million for businesses and training and hiring veterans, $500,000 to universities offering entrepreneurial training or creating veteran-owned businesses, and $1 million for marketing by Florida is for veterans. There's 6 state-run veterans nursing homes and an assisted living facility. They would get $3.4 million. And Governor Scott wants $20 million to build a state veterans nursing home in Port St. Lucie. There's also $24 million total to support military research and development. And then there's the sales tax holiday.
It's 3 days. They would not pay any sales tax for those 3 days. And it's a way to give back. Look at veterans that put their lives at risk. They're still defending. We're still, they're still being deployed. I can just tell you, our National Guard, I think in the last 12 months, has probably been deployed 4 times. So they're still getting deployed. So we've got to take care of them.
Like the governor said, we have an obligation to take care of our military men and women. And there are things available here. Bill Spann, who is the Director of Military Affairs for the City of Jacksonville, joins us now here on This Week in Jacksonville. Good to have you here. Making the transition from the military to civilian life is often very difficult, and sometimes they come back home or they move to a new community and they feel alone. In Jacksonville, that's not the case.
We're very fortunate, Bruce, to have a very deep bench here in Jacksonville to support both our active duty and our veteran community. There's a number of nonprofit organizations, what we call VSOs, Veteran Supporting Organizations, here in town, and we're very, very lucky to be living in the most veteran and military-friendly town in the nation.
And it's got one of the biggest veteran populations, too. You and I were chatting. 50,000 active military right now, 150,000 vets. What's the biggest challenge for them? Is it navigating the red tape?
Well, you got to look at what they're trying to do. If you're trying to get connected with your VA health benefits and your pension and your disability claims, that's what our office primarily does. To give you that in perspective, in the last 2 years, we've helped over 14,500 vets in Northeast Florida collect more than $51 million in new money from the VA. And that's a huge economic impact, not only for the veterans themselves, but for the local economy.
Well, the economic impact is amazing.
$14.5 billion a year if you include Kings Bay, Georgia up, and we include them. They're part of the tri-base family.
Yeah, because you got the submarine base that's up there. What's the biggest challenge that kind of caught you off guard, that surprised you?
The number of people that don't know that they can come into City Hall and access our services to get connected with the VA for free. We're very much, the analogy I use is we're like CPAs for your taxes. You know, we deal with the IRS, but in our case we deal with the VA, which is a large bureaucracy just like any other Washington bureaucracy. And the laws are changing, the rules are changing all the time. Our guys, our experts are qualified by the state. They do an apprenticeship period for a year, and then they help you navigate just in the way a defense attorney would, or an attorney for any other claim. They help you navigate that large bureaucracy, and we're extremely successful at it, and we don't cost a dime. The biggest challenge I found, to answer your direct question, is that people just don't know that it's already paid for. We're the only city in the country besides New York that has that wholly within its city budget.
And there are a litany of benefits that you can really help.
Absolutely. In addition to connecting you with your health benefits, if we have vets that are down on their luck, we have a program in association with the Jacksonville Jaguars Foundation. Mr. Kahn and Peter Racine over in the Jacksonville Jaguars and in the whole Jacksonville Jaguars organization helps us to be much stronger in helping vets, and we provide no-interest grants and loans to vets in small dollar amounts, $300, $400, $500, to keep them from getting evicted or keep them from getting their power cut off.
And I think it has to be understood that there's a mindset here that, yes, there may be the sailor or the soldier who serves overseas, but the family is very much part of that military community as well, and they're taken care of.
That's right. We have, coming up in May, we're going to have our second annual Dependents our Spouses Appreciation Night. It was extremely successful, probably the most rewarding thing I've done in my 2 years tenure working for Mayor Curry in this position. There was one, we gave away 900 Ann Taylor gowns thanks to a wonderful partnership with the local Jacksonville area USO. And there was one young lady that came out of that, and she had her gown with her, and I don't know fashion, but I understand Ann Taylor was quite the draw. But she came out and she was kind of weepy and had tears, looked like she'd just been crying. One of my staff went up to her and said, "Ma'am, is there anything wrong?" And she goes, "No, my husband and I have been in the military for over 18 years, and no one, any of the places we've lived, have ever done anything like this for us." So, like I said, Jacksonville is very, very special.
And there's been a lot of acrimony on the national level that this nation doesn't take care of its veterans as well as it should. And I know the mindset of the people here in Jacksonville, and you're working to change that.
Well, you can always do better. There's always room for improvement. We try to raise the bar of excellence every single day in what we do in helping vets. For instance, I was looking at the stats recently. Of those 14,500 that I told you about 18% of them, 2,600, were for one of the 7 anxiety conditions that the VA recognizes as part of the PTSD cluster. Yeah. And so there's really nowhere in Northeast Florida that more people are doing things for vets with PTSD than right here in Jacksonville. And
we want the people in the military community to take comfort in the fact that help is indeed available. Bill, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Coming up, the organization helping our men and women leaving the military, giving our veterans skills to succeed in the workforce. Operation New Uniform is next on This Week in Jacksonville.
During our One for Everyone sales event, we have reliability for everyone. All new Toyotas come with Toyota Care.
Get 0% APR for 72 months on a new 2017 Toyota Corolla.
So come in now.
Toyota, let's go places.
Unfortunately, we know that an accident can happen any day, even a holiday, which is why we stay open all night and every day. If you need us, we're always here to help, because justice never sleeps. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
At Honda, we design cars that you'll love to drive, like the Accord. Fun to drive when you're getting away for some me time or even on your daily commute. So hurry in to the Honda Dream Garage sales event.
Test drive the Accord, named a Car and Driver 10 Best a record 31 times.
I'm no marketing guru, but this guy is.
He's from Madison Avenue. He likes to say things like,
raised without antibiotics.
That's a phrase he invented to make chickens sound safer. And it doesn't mean much because by federal law, all chickens must be clear of antibiotics before they leave the farm.
I got more. Mom approved. Caffeine free.
We think Mr. Marketing Guru would fit in better at a different chicken company.
Ooh, I got it. Gluten free.
all chicken's gluten free.
I don't think that's... Okay, no, it is.
Fresh, delicious chicken from Sanderson Farms.
A new Big Lots mattress looks great in the master suite of a mega yacht. Where else would it look great? Your bedroom. Save up to $300 on all full queen or king Serta mattress sets this week at Big Lots. Take it home today.
Easter's here. That means church, family gatherings, and saving a lot of money. At Burlington, we get great brands and quality clothes for everyone at really low prices every single day. Wow, nice price. I got the kids' Easter clothes for under $40.
For top quality floors at rock bottom prices, there's no place like Floor & Decor. Over 1 million square feet of tile, wood, and stone flooring in stock. You have to see it to believe it. Visit us at your local Floor & Decor or flooranddecor.com.
At our One for Everyone sales event, we have deals for everyone. You can get 0% APR financing, great lease deals, and more.
Get 0% APR for 72 months plus $500 APR bonus cash on a 2017 RAV4.
So come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
I was dead. My heart wasn't beating. Nothing that are killing more people from the ages of 25 to 55 years of age.
An overdose every 2 hours. Now a new deadly mix.
This is killing our teens. This is killing our loved ones.
The I-Team exposes 5 local neighborhoods with a spike in overdoses.
Just one use can do it.
And why the only option to save lives could hurt us all. The I-Team investigates. iJax. Monday at 5:40 on News 4 Jax. You're watching This Week in Jacksonville on Channel 4.
Many veterans face a similar but very real challenge when they transition from the military into civilian life and trying to establish a successful new career. There is a local organization helping men and women get the skills they need to get results in the workforce. It's called Operation New Uniform. Joining me now is Navy veteran and Operation New Uniform Executive Director Justin Justice, along with a graduate of Operation New Uniform's program, Marine Corps veteran Juan Guerrero. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. Let me start with you. Operation New Uniform, a metaphor for making the transition from a military uniform to civilian clothing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just about the mindset of leaving the military and being so confident when we're serving. We had collar devices, we had rank, we had things that we wore that identified who we were. Now that we've transitioned from the military, we put on the same jacket and sport coat or button up that everyone else does. And sometimes we lose ourselves during that process. So Operation New Uniform really stands for not only changing your outfit on the outside, but also that mindset in transitioning, being comfortable after the service.
And there are actually 3 tools. You've got mindset, you've got attitude, and you've got tools. And I know that, you know, having interviewed many people in the military through the years who are trying to make that transition, they have a specific skill set and a tool set. It's just they don't know how to translate the acronyms and what they used in the military to civilian life. And it really is that simple. For instance, you know, if you dealt with products, your key is inventory control and budget control and things like that.
Absolutely. I was really good at being STG1 SW Justice. I was a sonar tech. I knew how to work on electronics. I was on a boarding team. I served in the Middle East. Ultimately, when I left the military, I would sit down across from you and say, Bruce, I was a sonar tech. And I was proud to say that to you, not knowing that you had no idea what that really meant unless you were really close to the military or someone like me. So when I started saying that to people, they just didn't know my value. The business community doesn't understand what a helicopter pilot or a tank commander means, an infantry, a sergeant.
It means leadership.
Yeah. It's hard to identify that because we don't understand the transferable skills necessarily. And once we understand how to share that with you in a way that makes sense, we're much more valued.
And that has to be reflected on your resume. Juan, if we could tell your personal story. Tell me a bit about you and the transition.
Sure. Well, in the military, like Justin said, we all had our own jobs. And I had various jobs in the military. You know, I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps. After I transitioned out, I held different jobs like logistics. I was in intelligence. So when I transitioned out, you know, I thought I had all these very different type of skills in order, you know, to get employment. But my biggest challenge was that I couldn't relate to the organizations and how to translate what I exactly did in the Marine Corps that can help them in the organization.
So it's all about communication, really.
It is about
the skill set is there. Yeah. And when you changed your mindset and your approach, what kind of reception did you get?
I got great reception. Once I went through Operation Uniform and they taught me how to translate those skills and change my mindset, I was able to translate that into a resume, translate that into networking, and kind of selling myself to organizations through Jacksonville. And luckily, I was fortunate enough to get hired on by a prestige company, Haskell, as a assistant project manager.
You know, among other things, the military teaches you team, they teach you drive, they teach you confidence. And those are very relatable skills in civilian life.
That's absolutely correct. And I think there's a great deal of friendliness toward veterans in our community and appreciation for our service. What we're here to really ensure is veterans are also fit in and have the confidence in that second phase of their life out of the uniform where they can fit into a company and have that same value and pride in what they do after the service as they did while serving.
And Juan, for the men and women who are out there watching right now or sitting saying, you know what, my hitch is only almost up, and I'm really worried about making that transition. What's your best advice for them?
My best advice is getting a hold of Justin and go through the Operation Uniform, but certainly seek out how to translate their skills, especially when they've been in 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, however many years they've been in, and how to translate that into the workforce. Because we have a lot of skill sets that we can offer to organizations. We just need to be able to articulate that to them.
And Justin, Operation New Uniform has been around for about 3 years now, since 2014. You have a 97% success rate. What success story resonates the most with you that can say to the people out there, you know what, just change your mindset a little bit and you'll get where you want to go?
You know, luckily we have about 150 success stories, but I think the point that I really want to make to the business community and the community at large is my concern for the 40 veterans that we can't serve in every cohort. We have a demand for our services that we just can't meet. People want to be a part of our program. They want to be served through what we do. So if there were 40 empty chairs in the studio right now of veterans that want to be served at Operation Uniform, I would love to know how many of the viewers would care to help us serve those veterans. At the end of the day, there are many veterans that want to be served and they want to have success after service. We want to be a big part of that, but the demand that we have for our services far exceeds what we can do. Our commitment is not to charge veterans like Juan for anything that we do as a nonprofit organization, so it's going to take a great deal of more community partners to meet that demand.
Well, here's the reality. There are business leaders and mentors who watch this show every day. So if you want to get in touch with Justin and the folks at Operation New Uniform, well, here's how you contact them. You will find Operation New Uniform at 904-328-1600, or check them out on the web, operationnewuniform.org. Gentlemen, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on This Week in Jacksonville, Bunker Labs Jacksonville, how it can help you make the transition. That's next.
La Mesa RV offers a huge selection and everyday low prices on new and used RVs. Get your keys to freedom in this new Heartland North Trail, discounted to just $152 per month. You'll find it waiting for you at La Mesa RV in Daytona Beach.
When you've been injured in an accident, it's very important to call Harrell & Harrell early in the process. We will sit down and talk with you for free. Ultimately, our goal is to get you the justice that you deserve.
Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now at Tire Kingdom, save up to $270 when you buy 4 select Cooper tires and get them installed. Up to $100 off instantly. Plus an additional $170 after mail-in rebate with your Tire Kingdom credit card. At Tire Kingdom. That's all you need.
This is the Silverado Special Edition.
This is one gorgeous truck.
Oh, did I say there was only one Special Edition? Because actually there's 5.
Nice. Strength and style.
It's Truck Month. Get 0% financing for 60 months, plus find your tag and get $5,500 on select Chevy Silverado pickups when you finance with GM Financial. See your Southern Chevy dealers.
This is a ClassAction.com consumer alert. Homes built before 1975 may have pipe erosion that can cause major water damage to your home. If you have water damage, warped floors, slow drains, or even a water-stained wall, you may have leaking pipes below your foundation, right under your feet. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Call or visit pipelawsuit.com now to learn more.
The school, the neighborhood, the neighbors, the house next door to the neighbors, the RE/MAX agent who checked off every detail she knew the family would love at 107 Meadow. The knowledge to find what's right for you. That's the sign of a RE/MAX agent.
Get to Nissan now and save on a lineup with intelligent safety features and America's best truck warranty. Take on the everyday with 6 2017 IIHS top safety picks. It's clear why we're America's fastest growing auto brand. Get to Nissan now for great offers like 0% financing for up to 72 months on 11 models or save up to $10,000 on select models.
La Mesa RV offers a huge selection and everyday low prices on new and used RVs. Get your keys to freedom in this new Keystone Montana High Country, discounted to just $361 per month. You'll find it waiting for you at La Mesa RV in Daytona Beach.
Next, E.T., how the stars are preparing for Dancing's premiere as Sharna gives us backstage secrets. And
hey, E.T., it's me, Joey McIntyre.
We're at home with this new kid on the block and his family. Next, E.T.
Monday at 7 on Channel 4.
One nationwide organization with a local chapter here helping veterans turn their military skills into business skills is Bunker Labs. There are currently 15 Bunker Labs across the nation, and again, one right here in the River City. Joining me now, John Fales, who's the executive director and Navy veteran and local entrepreneur, Aaron Enos, founder of Sensible Recycling. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks,
Aaron, if I could start with Bunker Labs here. Your mission statement, it's interesting. It is our mission to catalyze the entrepreneurial potential of military experience to lead the American economy. Simply translated, it means, you know what? You're getting out of one of the biggest businesses in the world. You've got some things to offer, and there are business opportunities right here.
Absolutely. I mean, when veterans transition from military service, they have a lot of the qualities that make successful entrepreneurs. They have perseverance, the ability to literally organize chaos and make things work. And not only that, but to come up with innovative ideas that other people haven't quite realized yet. These are all skills that make them prime for the entrepreneurship sector. And the thing is, when they come out of the military, they sometimes lack the mentorship or the networks that they need in order to be successful. And that's where the Bunker is stepping in, helping these guys realize that their skills are already there. We just need to help them leverage it into business ownership.
So can I assume that you had a dream, you had a vision, and it was just finding the right door to walk through to make it happen?
Sure, Bruce. You know, all the experiences that I had in the military and after the military with college, with, you know, my career in the corporate world, it all provided me with a toolbox. So I had an opportunity to start something on my own. And even though I had all these experiences, these guys really help kind of put it together for you. They bring in people from the community that are experts in their field and bring that expertise to you, and you know, you're in a group of comrades. You know, we share this camaraderie in the military, and when you're in that group, everybody has an openness, and we share things, and everybody is at a different stage in their business development. And when Bunker brings everybody together like that, good things happen, Bruce.
So you joined Bunker Labs about 3 months into opening your business. How's it made a difference?
Well, I thought pitching was something done in baseball. That's the biggest thing that I've gotten from Bunker is learning to pitch my business. You know, I've sold products for other people and helped make money for other businesses. But when it comes to doing it on your own, it means a lot. You got to get it right, you know, and they really kind of bring it together with like I said, these experts and other businesses. They help you mold that pitch. So when I go out and I meet people and I have to sell my business, you know, I do it the right way. And they just, you know, they bring it together in a way that I couldn't have done on my own. And with things that I didn't learn in school.
Yeah, so Aaron honed his pitch, but then you've got to take it to the next level. So Bunker Labs also understands it's not always what you know, it's who you know. So networking and mentoring are very important.
Yeah, absolutely. For the Bunker, our largest product is our network. We create a national framework that local veterans can belong to by joining up with us and getting connected. Feature 23, a local tech-based business, was able to pitch in Silicon Valley, thanks to the connections that we were able to establish for them. And it was a game changer for them and got them in a different state of mind. And they're an incredibly successful organization that's now turning around and giving back to other businesses just like Aaron's.
A little earlier, we talked to the folks from Operation New Uniform, and they said that one of the major keys to success was mindset. Do you find that a lot of these would-be entrepreneurs come to you and their mindset isn't quite where it needs to be?
So it varies. I will certainly say that everybody's at a different stage in the journey when they finally find us, and it's kind of what makes my job so really rewarding, is really picking guys up from where they're at and making them and sharpening them skills just a little bit better. So I will say that the one thing that they usually lack is not necessarily the business acumen or even how they need to be successful. It's really helping them understand that they can use their military background to really be even more successful instead of just pushing it to the side and forgetting it, and realizing it helps them belong to a national network that should empower them. I mean, we have these veterans who exit the military and we tell them that they're exceptional all the time when they're in the military, and then they exit and we tell them they need to be like everyone else. And that doesn't quite play out. And entrepreneurship is one of those avenues that veterans can go where they are encouraged to, again, be exceptional and be awesome, and we want to help them get there.
And if you're exceptional and awesome, you certainly believe in yourself. Aaron, let me ask you the same question I asked Juan from Operation New Uniform a little while ago. For the men and women who are watching out there right now, and a little bit nervous about making the transition, a little bit nervous about ways to bring their dreams to fruition, what do you tell them?
At this point, come to Bunker. You know, you're going to get with a group of guys that all share relatively similar experiences. And as I touched on before, the camaraderie that we share lends to an atmosphere of openness that you're not going to get anywhere else. You know, I go to chamber events and I go to various networking events, but it's that camaraderie that really helps us. You know, I can ask one of my peers a question and I get a straight up answer. You know, and like I said, everybody is at a different stage in their business development.
And that camaraderie you talk about, I think the military term is team. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. If you want more information about Bunker Labs, there's their web address, bunkerlabs.org/Jacksonville, or you can get hold of John at john.fales@bunkerlabs.org. Gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. We certainly do appreciate it. Again, there are some 50,000 active military men and women in the city of Jacksonville right now, 150,000 vets who live here. If you have a dream, believe in yourself, believe in your potential, know how to network, know how to reach out to mentors, and that dream will come true. Appreciate you watching This Week in Jacksonville.